Hey, my name is Dave Kading. Thank you for joining us for this episode. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to leave your office for a year and still make money on the Optometric Insights show. Welcome to the Optometric Insights show. I'm excited to have Justin join us again back on the show. And Justin and I were talking recently about when we used to travel in the world. You remember that, Justin? Those were the days, right? And one of the really cool things that I liked about Justin and how he's really put something into action. Many of you know, and you've heard Mila and I talk about the E-Myth physician or the E-Myth book, and it talks about being a manager or being the technician or being the entrepreneur or the owner of the business. And I think, Justin, you've really helped demonstrate what it means to be a business owner when you're not the doctor. So talk to us a little bit about how you have had an opportunity to travel around the world, and how did this whole concept even come about to build that up to be what it is?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
I knew I always wanted to have a business. I just didn't want to have a job, and that's the perfect thing, with the E-Myth, right? So if I'm the one that's tied to it, like it was, Dr. Bazan's eye care, then maybe I probably would feel like I was the one that was the driving force behind it. So very early on, I remember reading the E-Myth when I was underneath a palm tree in Hawaii, drinking a lava flow after I got fired from Cohen's Fashion Optical, saying I better open up for myself, and I want to start this as a business from day one, not just as a place where I have to work. Mm-hmm. So very early on, we planned it that way. About 2 or 3 years in, I had my first chance to test that out as I took a position working for a large regional company where I was covering from Maine to northern Virginia, somewhere down south, a little bit further down south. And I was on the road 5 days a week. I did have a nice salary from that. So I was on the road 5 days a week. I'd come back, work weekends, seeing patients. So I had a pretty full work week. But during the week, I had other doctors. I had a full-time doctor along with my full-time staff taking care of the patients in the office. What I was able to do was to set up systems to allow me to remote monitor the business and help make any big decisions that would drive the business or follow our strategy. So the day-to-day stuff was taken care of in the office, but if I needed to check systems that were in place, I could do that remotely. And the advent of the EHR has been fantastic. The utilization of email has really helped with that. Text messaging on our phones. All of the technological stuff that may be commonplace now wasn't so commonplace 2010, 11, but we were utilizing it then pretty heavy. Mm-hmm. Years go by, me and you get more opportunities in the industry. I traveled in 2019 over 100,000 miles. I think it's about 120,000 miles. I was on the road 3 days a week. I had a full-time doctor and a part-time doctor, along with 6 staff during the week and 2 staff during the weekend. So we were a busy, full office, and I was able to allow that business to run with very limited input from me because of the systems we had in place. So those underlying systems, combined with the ability to remotely monitor and manage as needed, really allowed me the freedom and flexibility to be on the road doing other things other than seeing patients. Yeah. Next year, the big thing is I'm going to do this without the support of consulting gigs, without the support of another job. I am taking a year-long sabbatical to travel the world, and I'm going to be leaving it up to a very small but mighty staff and remote monitoring, utilizing email, EHR, and the ability to dial in to my systems if I needed to check things.
Yeah, just so many of us are like, well, I'm not really interested in getting another job 5 days a week, or I don't go lecture all over the country. I don't have this secondary income, so I'm just going to keep doing things the way I'm doing, and I don't really have an interest in going on a sabbatical, whatever that is. I'm not an academic person or whatever the sabbatical thing is.
Oh, you have to be
So
academic to take one? I'm in
no,
trouble then.
yeah, you need to go. You need to go teach somewhere first. No, but I think that there is aspects of, even if you don't leave, these processes and protocols are so good as a business owner. And I think that oftentimes when we are in our office, we're acting as technicians, not as owners, and a lot gets missed in the practice. Can you kind of talk about how those of us who, aren't as amazing as you on the road for a year at a time, why there's benefits of doing it within the office, even if we're going to stay here and see patients?
Well, what's your long-term goal? Do you want to work till you die? If that's it, cool. Keep doing what you're doing. If you want to sell your practice, well, maybe the next person doesn't want to be glued to patient care 5 days a week, and they want to have the ability to have some freedom and flexibility in their schedule. The other side of that is if you can only get stuff done while you're in the office, you're going to be in the office a lot more. You may want to work on things at home. You may want to review some OCT images from the comfort of your office at home. You may want to run some financials and crunch some numbers from a little mini weekend vacation that you're taking. Mm-hmm. Having the ability to do business stuff anywhere you want to be or are currently located is a huge benefit. So you're not tied down to that office. The things that need to happen in the office can be identified, and things that can happen anywhere can be identified, and then you put systems in place to allow you to do those things anywhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Have you seen the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton in it?
That's the McDonald's movie?
Yeah. So
yes,
I think it's
have.
called The Founder.
Yep.
So
The Founder, yep.
I learned a lot from that business. We found out that, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, it showed him to maybe not be the most upstanding individual, but he did understand business, in that business is not so much about the hamburger in McDonald's, but it's about the process that you go through, right? It's about the experience that our customers or our patients go through. And, to your point is, when we're selling a business, we don't want to be selling Dave Kading's Eye Care or Justin Bazan Eye Care. We want to be selling a business. And even if you don't go travel, you need to have these processes so well refined so that even if you weren't there, the processes would be well refined, right? If you're the doctor who's seeing patients and you come in the door and you see all the patients every day, and that's the reason the business is successful, you are the business. And going to sell it, you're not going to get what you want for it. But if you're selling a process where you could hire a doctor to come in and see the patients and provide the same level of care that then you have a business. And I think that's really the key thing. And that your business is running well if you can go on a year-long sabbatical, right?
Very true. Well, check back in a year. You'll do the follow-up.
Yeah, I think that's so well put. And, I love hearing about your practice and the systems that you put in place and how well it operates, well back into 2010, 2000. You and I graduated at the same time. I looked the other day, and you were a 2004 grad, right?
Yep.
So I was at Pacific at the same time. We bumped into each other, got to know each other around 2008, 2010. I started my practice December 2007. Yours was 2008, right?
Yep.
So
July of 2008.
Yeah, we mirror so much of where we've come over the years. It's been really cool. And I think it's been in the last 5 or 10 years for me where it's about that process, pushing the processes and really working on it. How does your team handle this development and refinement of processes in your practice?
I think when we are open to trying something new with a mind that says, let's give this a shot and see how it goes, that makes it smoother, right? So change is hard. People are resistant to change, but if you embrace change and they get more comfortable with change because you create change and they're open to trying things, then great. Like the other day, I said, Aaron, to my all-star, I said, what's one thing that's just driving you crazy lately? And he's like, well, we're still getting, even though we don't have a phone, he's like, I still have to deal with voice messages. No matter how much we say, leave an email, it's the best way to reach us. or use the online scheduler to make an appointment, people were still leaving voice messages. So I said, Aaron, would you be uncomfortable if I said, please do not leave a voice message. We are not going to call you back. Email us or make the appointment online. He said, no, give it a shot. Try it. And we tried that, I think, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And now he's like, I get no voice messages. It's great. So one of his biggest headaches has now transformed into more office efficiency. And patients now have clear expectations. We communicate through online scheduling and through email. So that puts everybody kind of right off the bat. This is what our office is about. Some people absolutely love that. And I'm sure some people who are like leaving a voicemail and never get a call back on the rare occasions that it happens now, they won't choose us as a provider. And I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in our next conversation, we need to talk about getting rid of your phone and picking the patients that you want to see. Right?
Oh, man, that's a great topic.
Yeah. We'll do it next time. So, hey, thanks, Justin, for joining us. Will you join us again another time?
Absolutely, Dave. And hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out in real life sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Optometric Insights Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and get back to us, and let us know about other topics that you'd be interested in hearing about. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Optometric Insights Show.